So that would be a chip shot setup for me. And the style of technique, as I said, we one lever kind of shoulder rocking and off we go. Let's try one here, this shot. Again, from here I would not normally play a chip shot. I'll play a chip shot from much closer to the green. But I want to try and show you a film from, both shots from the same scenario. So let's try one. So this might run a little bit out too far. Hands high, weight forward, keep the weight forward. Rock back and forth. And again, I'm having to land the ball short of the green with that style of shot. One, because of the amount of power I can produce from that length of swing. And also, to get it to be anywhere near the hole, I'd have to play it that way. Now, the pitch technique is going to be slightly further away from the ball, so the club sits more or less towards my belt line, so much more natural, so the wrists are able to work. In the chip shot, we're obviously arching our wrists a bit more, so that locks them in place, so they rock back and forth far, far more. With this shot here, the wrists are much more natural in their inclination at the start. I'm going to allow the club head to travel more upward. And you see here my thumbs point nearer to the camera, my thumbs point nearer to the target, so it's a slight what I call thumb up. I'm using the bounce of the club a lot more. The angle of attack will be less steep. I'm having 60% of my weight in the front foot. I'm stood with the same width of stance, so it's narrow for both shots. But because I'm further away and the wrist angle is more natural, the wrists are working naturally more. And that is going to produce more loft on the shot. There's less angle attack down, so we're hoping to present more dynamic loft on the shot. Again, if we strike the ball correctly, we'll still have quite a low flying shot because there's not much power. And normally with a very good play, we'd see it kind of grab up. Again, today, on this scenario, downwind and downhill, I'm not expecting this ball to grab at all. So, process. Couple of little practice swings. I'm probably swinging just to my top of my thigh with my arms back and forth. That is the feeling I'm trying to get for the distance I need for this shot. Okay, so I pulled it left a fraction, but you'll see there the ball on landing is definitely softer as it lands. And the kind of concept I almost want in my head is kind of like an underarm throw. So I'm trying to get my hand to face this way. So as I go through the shot, the club is facing kind of back towards me a lot more than it was with the chip. The chip is much stiffer line, the thumbs are pointing still towards the ground, producing less loft at impact and that lower flight we talked about. So essentially that's the difference between the technique of the chip and pitch. From a scenario point of view, I would want to be playing the chip shot kind of inside this cut area, so I can land it on the green, then run it to the hole. The pitch would be much more like this, where I've got to go over something like grass, bunker, or an object where I need that little bit more height.
Normal and not travel super far. Here's my chip shot technique. Here's my setup pieces, and here's my chip shot. Okay, so that'd be about a baseline chip shot that I hit, I don't know, maybe 10, 15 yards. And now here's my pitch shot. So before we go through these, see if you can spot the differences in both my setup and my actual in-swing. So here's pitch shot. Okay, so there's my pitching technique. I'll do that one more time. Here's my chipping. So chip shot, lower than normal, fly shorter. Okay, there's my normal chip. And now here's my pitch shot. So see if you can see the setup adjustments. Good, and there's my pitch shot. So those are the two different shots.